What is going on, everybody? This is Mike from the Last Corvette, and today is another video that I'm going to make for Dennis. It's so amazing when you can have literally a one-on-one through the interwebs and help somebody out, either just having a back and forth conversation, or doing a troubleshoot. So here's the C6. His question has all to do with the headlights. And when I say the headlights, I believe by reading the comment, if I'm correct here, and you can obviously jump in and reply. You had a dealership take out the headlights and then you shipped them out to a company to replace the faded out or basically aged outer lenses. Very, very common on these C6s, especially if they're original. Now, on a side note, really quick, you want to get yourself some good product, like Meguiar's makes a really good plastic. Basically, not only is it a polisher, but it also oils the outer lens. I usually do it a couple of times a season. It clears up your lens, but it also protects it from the UV, right? From the sun and everything else like that. So that's just a little tip. Now, here's the deal. Let's start with the original video or videos that I made 3 years ago plus, I think. So the reason I never brought up any adjustments, because if you do a straight pull out and reinstall on these C6s, you don't need adjustments, because there's actually only one adjustment you can make to the headlight, excuse me, and then one adjustment you can make to your fog light. Both of those adjustments are accessible even when the headlight is installed. For the headlights, you got to open up your hood, and if you look at the inner fender, basically inner structure of your vehicle, which is fiberglass, there's going to be a hole, and you will see that long horizontal rod when you remove the headlight. That's the only adjustment that you have. So that horizontal rod actually does your vertical adjustment on your headlight, okay? There's only one, so that's that long rod. Every other tab that you see, so there are a couple of drains or vents on those headlights on the back, and everything else is just structural, basically structural mounting points for the inner housing. And when you make those adjustments, that single vertical adjustment, it actually will adjust both your high beam and your low beam. They're tied together. The whole housing will pivot. Under normal conditions, unless you have a structural damage, right? So God forbid you get into a little fender bender and they start replacing things, that's when you would go in and actually go through basically a calibration process and try to, well, first of all, you would do a baseline and see if anything is needed. But if you do need adjustments, you would go through and actually adjust it yourself. There's no science to it. There are specs, and I will include a link in the description to a post on a forum that basically covers it all. It shows you the spec, shows you where the adjustments are. That way there are no questions. But if you're just doing, like I said, a simple disassembly, reassembly, no adjustments are needed. Now, of course, if you have warranty and if you're not happy, get on the call, get with whoever did the work, either the dealership or the company that replaced the lenses, and try to get it resolved. Now, they're definitely not going to replace the whole lens for you or the whole headlight. You can still buy them, but they're super expensive. They're like $700, almost $800 brand new per. But in all honesty, they're going to try to fight you more than likely and tell you the same thing. Don't worry about it. This is the only adjustment that you got. But here's the deal. One of the things that you need to look for is when you flip the headlight over, look on the back side of the housing, and wherever you have your imperfections or bent inner structure adjustment rods, and all they do, and I say adjustment rods, let me rephrase it, just basically your contact points. Make sure there's no cracks in the housing itself, because if you see splits or cracks, that will lead to moisture getting in into the headlight, the inner structure of the headlight, and then it's always going to be just foggy, and you're going to have condensation in there, and it's going to look like crap, and it's going to lead to you pulling the headlight out again. And then at that point, you're either going to need to buy a new headlight, aftermarket headlight, or a used headlight and replace the lens on it again. So once again, let's recap. Single adjustment on each headlight, single adjustment on each fog light. I will include a link. You can look through it and see for yourself. Everything else is not adjustable. And, you know, if everything looks good on your headlight, just dump those suckers in and you'll be good to go. If you do need to make your vertical adjustment, then you have to be on a flat surface up against the garage door when it gets dark, or up against the wall, and see where your headlights fall. Normally, they'll be dead even though your driver's side headlight will always be slightly lower, like this, right? So the whole housing is going to be tilted in. That's done because you don't want to blind your oncoming traffic, okay? I can tell you this. I drove this vehicle prior to replacing the lenses, and then I cooked them for 35 minutes or whatever it was, and then I replaced my outer lens, put everything back together, and there was no difference in how the headlights lit up the area in front of the vehicle. All right, hopefully it helps. Comment below, and I will do my due diligence to help you if you have any further questions.